Hey, it's the Odd Man. I'm sitting at home, it's mid-November, and I'm looking over all the information from my trip to Maine this fall and all the hikes my daughter and I did. Lisa and I hiked in 32 different places in southern Maine, and I thought it would be fun to pick the top five. This isn't really terribly comprehensive because while we hit 32 places, I found another 48 possible hikes in the same general area. So we didn't catch them all, but we got a good selection of them, and I hope you like this top five. All right, in that time honored tradition of countdowns, we're going to start at number five and work our way up to number one. The first one is a little disappointing from a video standpoint because I haven't taken any pictures here. This is one of my favorite places for two primary reasons. One is that it's close to Lisa's house, and I've done a lot of runs here. But secondly, it's also a well-managed preserve. It's managed by the Nature Conservancy, who always does really a great job. And in this one, this fall, they had a big field burning they did to help with the native vegetation. The main thing that I really like about this place, though, is because of the way it's managed. The wild Maine blueberries are thick, and I ate a bunch of handfuls of those on one of my runs. That automatically puts it in the top five as far as I'm concerned. I'm calling this bridle path near Kennebunk as number four. It starts at a railroad depot and old house parts store, which are kind of fun in their own way. And then they wander through a lot of different types of terrain. There's the normal trail kind of stuff. There's people's backyards. It passes through the Sea Road Preserve, the Madeline Marks Preserve, and a portion of the Rachel Carson Preserve. It has places where there's boardwalks over marshes. And it's part of a history display the city has. And then ends up at Mother's Beach down in Kennebunk. So it's quite wide and varied in terms of the kinds of things it covers, and it ended up being a very pleasant day. Part of the appeal of this hike was that it was so very difficult to find any information about it on the internet. So it was quite a bit more of a challenge to do the hike just in terms of figuring out where to go and how to get there. So let's move on to number three. I vote the Wells Preserve at Lodholm Farm as the number three item on my list. This one isn't as intellectually stimulating perhaps as the Kennebunk Bridle Trail was, but it's just a big open place with tons of trails. You can go run on the beach, and the beach is really nice. There's an overlook on the stream, and there's some woods on it that you can, walk through. So it's also varied and pretty, and based on those things, I really liked it. This is another one where I did it as a run and didn't really document it well. This was the end of my run at the northern terminus of the Lodholm Beach. I'm suggesting that Mount Agamenticus should be number two, both because it is spectacular and educational. In my mind, it loses a little appeal because you can drive clear to the top of it, but driving to the top doesn't mean you can't hike around. The ring trail is cool, all the trails around the top are neat, and the viewpoint at the top of the mountain, there's a little deck, and they've got these little bronze figures that show you what you're looking at. So wherever you look, and you can see for miles. You can see all up and down the coast and a lot of the mountains inland. It shows you what they all are, and it has essentially a silhouette that shows you what to look for.
Oh yeah, here's the switchboard.
This is the first ever trail I've hiked that had a glossary and a bibliography. What was the name of this pond? Like Warren Pond or something?
It looks like Welch's Pond.
Pretty nice place to stop and eat lunch. And it's turning into fall here. So the moment we've all been waiting for, hike number one. The number one rated hike in southern Maine is the Orris Falls hike. This place is just cool. It's got a balancing rock and an old foundation and beaver dams and a falls and huge rocks in the scenery. It's got a peak you can climb if you want, a pretty lake. So this one, in my mind, was really the nicest hike of all we did in Maine.
We're doing that other thing instead.
This huge beaver dam is cool, but we don't see any evidence that there's any beavers working here actively today or this year or whatever. All the stumps we've seen, all the brush we've seen cut down by them appears to be rather weathered. This place needs new beavers. This is the foundation for the house. And we think that this other area over here was probably the barn. We are hiking towards the big bump. This is the top of the big bump, but there's no view. East Coast trails. No switchbacks, just go straight up and over. Forest Falls. This rock was dropped by a glacier, according to the signs. Out of the 32 hikes we did, you can see what I thought of as the top 5. There's a few more that deserve some special mention though. One is Bonnie Bay Conservation Area. It's just fun. It's got a big peak and you climb the rock. I may like it more than I should because you can look out and see the lows near our house. Another honorable mention one is Mount Major, just because the views are so cool up there. The trails are well marked. It's just a fun place to go. And then I also liked the Beach Plum Farm in Wells, primarily because they had actual beach plums. I didn't realize that was a thing until I went there, so that was fun. It was just too short to make a top 5 hike. So there you have my top 5. The hikes I like best in southern Maine. Here's also a list of all the hikes we did and a list of all the hikes we missed.
What's that?
And on those hikes we did,
like
it seemed like all of them had something fun. I wouldn't take my top 5 as a final definitive. You'd probably like different ones. But thanks for watching. This is the Odd Man, out.